Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 185 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of February the 1st through the 7th, 2021. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. Loud ass box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studio South, aka my house. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, or any others like that, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, a rating. It would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, welcome and thank you. This episode of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast is brought to you by Washington Perk and Provision Company. The Perk is located at 301 West 4th Street. Great place to get your breakfast biscuits or lunch sandwich at affordable prices. They serve Larry's Beans coffee and make fantastic lattes and other fancy coffee drinks. They have hot tea there as well. Wolfie's Custard, fresh, locally sourced fruits, veggies, meat and dairy, a chip wall, a beer and wine wall, and more. Washington Perk is better than the convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. First, I want to give up an update on my health. If you've been reading my daily blogs over the last week, you know that I had a health scare as far as my metabolic panel test went. I thought that I may be pre-diabetic, and it turns out that I am not pre-diabetic. My A1C was all right, but my triglycerides are really high, and that's like the silent killer. Everybody talks about cholesterol, but right there in the cholesterol is the triglycerides, and I've got to pull them down. Also, I was 321 pounds, which is awful. So, what is that? Fat. And so I am going to take care of it. I am working with a fabulous dietitian and nutritionist, Miss Kristen Norton from Well Balanced Nutrition. And I have started a daily walking routine as well. I say daily, not Saturdays and Sundays, but Saturdays could expand. But, you know, I need a day off sometimes. I am going to ask Kristen to come on in the next few weeks to talk about what she does and how it helps me and how it can help the listeners. So that's where I'm at right now. I have to basically cut out simple carbs, which is French fries and white bread and things like that, and add, if I'm going to add a lot of vegetables, which, you know, I've always joked that I don't like, but when we got down to the things that I would add, I like all those. So it's really more of just me talking and being funny than it is real. But I also need to add complex carbs like beans and whole grains like the farro or things at places that have farro, the grain. Corn, peas, potatoes I can have, but with skins. And preferably boiled or steamed, not fried.
Baked?
You mean them baked? Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love baked potatoes.
I love a good baked potato.
Yeah. Yep.
Take a baked potato and some sort of meat and vegetable with a little bit of sauce that goes with it. Put it all on top and just eat it all. Yeah.
Well, I am a butter, sour cream, bacon bit, cheese kind of guy. And scallions if I have them, chives maybe. My doctor even told me, he says, look, I don't care if you have burgers every day. He says the fat, the meat, all that stuff, your body, we learned with keto, your body will take care of it. But when you add simple carbohydrates, then your body has a hard time of all that stuff. She said, so if you have a burger, other than when you're working, because I get that you have to do that. Think about having it take the top bun or the bottom bun off. Take one of the buns off. And I say, okay, so I just have to eat it with a knife and fork. Oh, well. That doesn't bother me. I mean, the food, I get to taste it either way. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm going to be doing. So whenever it comes time for the something that we're going to talk to Stephen about here in a little bit, we do have guests today, then we'll just have to be mindful of it. But moving on.
I remember my doctor having a conversation with me a while back, and I still need to fully implement what he said. He's like, so are you 16? I'm like, dude, I mean, I know you're not that stupid. You know I'm older than 16. Then why are you still eating like that? I'm like, oh, sorry. He's like, dude, it's all about, for me, what he recognized that it was more about portion control.
That's another
Instead
part.
of having a big meal, have a smaller meal. And if I get hungry between them, well, that's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm not starving.
Right.
I can let that go. And one of the things that he recommended, when you get that moment, it's like, yeah, I'm between lunch and dinner and I am hungry. Go get a glass of water.
Yeah.
Down it, you will not be hungry.
For a handful of nuts or something.
That.
Just a handful of nuts. That will do wonders.
Yeah.
One thing that Kristen is talking to me about is embracing the to-go box, because I have always been anti-to-go box because I don't like to eat old food. Other than pizza and like meatloaf and things like that, I don't like old food. It's a mental thing. I get creeped out by it. I get the chills, and it's all psychological. I get it, but it's there. It's real. So, but I am learning to at least, I think part of it too is, hey, I paid for this. I need to eat it all. Well,
yeah, it's on my plate.
Yeah.
We were taught clean plate.
That's right. My thing is, it's not all you can eat. It's all you can see. And that's what I do. It's here. I've got to eat it. Got to eat that. Got to eat this. Got to eat that. And no, I don't.
It's like some of the restaurants changed it to all you care to eat.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
instead of all you can.
All you can keep down.
It's a challenge.
Yeah. All you can keep down for $1. But no, I have in last week, Monday through Friday, I was really mindful of all the things that were going in my mouth. And I walked every day. Monday through Friday anyway. So I'm working on it. And I told the nurse and the doctor, the next time I'm in there, which is 6 months, I will be under 300 pounds on that scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I can.
I bet it won't take long to get you under 300.
No, it won't. It won't. But if I can work my way back down slowly, you don't want to lose fast, because that's just not good and healthy. So, and you'll gain it right back. But if you do it slowly, then it works its way. Your metabolism levels out, and you get rid of some stuff. Anyway,
maybe what Christian could help us with is how do you approach going out to eat in a way that's still healthy?
Yeah, I'll talk to her about that. See if she'll come on and talk with us.
Because I mean, like when we go to Mojitos and we get the pork belly, is that really very healthy? But maybe if we split an order with some folks and take a little bit of it home, so we're not doing the whole thing all at once.
Right.
It's a little healthier for us. Maybe we don't get that every single time that we go to Mojitos. Maybe it's just every single time, not every single time.
Let's not get silly.
I know, they're just talking craziness. Why would we not get the pork belly?
Yeah, enough of that crazy talk. Let's move on.
I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Well, Mr. Barbecue has announced that they are looking at the end of this month to reopen. The inside looks exactly like the old restaurant, just newer and shinier. I'm excited for them. I have finally gotten the number for one of the owners, and I called but only got a voicemail. I sent a text as well. Haven't got a response from that. I hope to get them on to talk about the relaunch. It's getting closer, and while I have no delusions that the jumbo cheeseburger won't be exactly the same, as the grill that was well seasoned after many, 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 many years of use. I still can't wait to get one. It would have definitely been top 10 on the burger tour of 2019. And speaking of burgers, of the burger tour, we will be talking with Street Team Steven in a bit. We may have some news for you.
Burger news.
Burger news. Diamondback Grill is a casual dining facility located in the heart of Buena Vista in Winston-Salem. Diamondback Grill is a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers, which means the food is always fresh. Diamondback Grill has a new daily themed specials menu. Each day of the week is a different theme, like Plantastic Tuesday, Seafood Wednesday, Mediterranean Thursday, Prime Rib Friday, and Burger Saturday. You can always order from the full regular menu as well. Find them on the web at diamondbackgrill.com and on Facebook and Instagram.
Sounds to me like they want to be the place that you could go 5-6 nights a week and be good because there's always something new.
Always something new, yes. Stephanie and I had our resis at Sir Winston for the Blue Crab Seafood pop-up bar pop-up this past Friday. And before I talk about the food, I have to talk about Sir Winston and the staff and even the ownership over there. Nuno, the front of house manager, to Joe, the restaurant manager, Simon and Joseph, who are the owner and GM respectively, Taylor, our server. Everyone was amazing and out of this world. The service was fantastic. The hospitality was fantastic. We have a problem eating indoors. Well, Stephanie has a problem eating indoors. And they were very willing to set up a patio table outside with a heater just for us. But let me tell you, it was very low 30s on Friday night. And I preferred not to do that, but I had reservations. So they said, we got you. So they put us in an isolated corner away from everything else, at least 30 feet from the next table, above everyone, so we could see the whole restaurant. The experience on that end was great, and they were more than accommodating, and I cannot thank them enough for that experience. Now,
that's awesome.
On to the food. Stephanie had the garlic lobster tater tots, which was a big pile of tater tots with a slathering of creamy, garlicky lobster gravy. And it was delicious because I tried some, even though I shouldn't have had the stuff. But you know what? Anything in moderation is okay. I'm allowed my cheat time, because if I didn't have the things that I absolutely want, then this won't work, because I will rebel. I had the Carolina seafood boil, basically their take on the Low Country boil. Delicious shrimp, mussels, corn on the cob, potatoes with skins, and snow crab legs. It was boiled in a bag. Yeah, clab. It was a clab. It was boiled in a bag and unbagged in front of me. You can look on the Man Who Ate the Town Instagram page to see pictures of both of those things.
They look really good.
I look forward to this being open and roar when the show's up in the spring. Of course, I've been giving Clementines a lot of love, and they deserve all of it and more. The Green Machine smoothie is very green and very good. The salmon avocado toast was divine. I had that Saturday. Stephanie tried the baked egg and grit bowl. I tried over this past week the shakshuka with both over grits and over farro. So good in all those ways. I know it's not traditional shakshuka that way, but I'm looking for healthy alternatives.
Still good.
Here. I want things that I can do, and like, I like to experiment, especially when I know the people in the kitchen or, ownership or whatever that just look, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, because I know these menu items are someone's vision and someone's creation. And I don't want to change that. Just how about if I can try it a different way? That's how I look at it. So it's this week at Sir Winston, they're doing dragon fruit, which is Asian inspired food. Also, they're doing the cocoa mocha, I think it's called, which is the desserts. So it's all the desserts that's going to be running all the way through the end of this month, which will be another spot in Roar. Both Quiet Pint and West End Poke will have new menus starting today. Lots of salads and healthy options on both menus. All your favorite things. Well, West End Poke was mostly healthy anyway. But everything at Quiet Pint that you liked, I mean, there might be a couple things missing, but it was just stuff that didn't sell well. But they're adding a lot of stuff, trying new things. That's what restaurants have to do. They have to adapt. I had West End Poke for lunch on Friday. It was, I always make my own bowl, and lots of fish, ahi, tuna, and salmon both, with a lot of brown rice and other vegetables and stuff. So I sent a picture to both Stephanie and to Kristen, and they were both impressed. So I told Kristen, I said, look, what's going to happen is, I'm a food person. I'm a food journalist. It's my job. So you're going to get, because my family motto is whole ass, never half. And I will be sending you pictures of the things that I'm doing. And she says she looks forward to it. So she started giving me commentary. And even she said, you're kicking the ass with this. So I felt good. And my wife says, that's sexy. So when I eat green things and plants, she said, just when you eat plants, that's sexy. I said, all right, as long as you think so, that's good.
Hey, if you found a way that your wife sees you as sexy, woo-hoo, yay!
Bonus plan for me. I really wish that restaurants would take better care of their Facebook page. I know that this is, blue in the face stuff, and I talk about it all the time. Case in point, the Breakfast Time Anytime Haynes Mall page. There are about 3 or 4 pictures of styled hair weaves and other things from a local salon. Why? What does that have to do with breakfast time? The last thing I want to think about when I think of food is hair. Now, to be fair, the page that I follow for that is the former unofficial page. So they probably don't even know that they have this page. There is an official Breakfast Time Anytime page that is professionally run. That covers all 5 locations. The 2 here in Winston. I think there's one in Clemens and Advance and something else. So I get that. And I may just switch the focus to that one. Although I try to keep it to location. But obviously that only matters to me because, again, they had not touched this page since it got switched from the unofficial page. So anyway, if you are a restaurant or other establishment out there and you might want to look and see if you have any unofficial pages that were out there, because people are posting some stuff that may not look good for you. Case in point, again, I don't know why I've used that phrase twice, but case in point was Grillville. Whenever they had the page that was talking about the owner and the head waitress supposedly having an affair, and it was not true, at least what other people were saying, but someone put that up there. And another thing was there was a Chinese restaurant here in town, a big buffet place, the largest one I'd say in town, that had a picture of ice cream with a little rubber piece in it and said this came there, and they said that I put it there, and You don't need that kind of stuff. Check your brand and protect your brand. People might be posting things that make you look bad and you don't even know they're there. But the marketing people for these companies or these restaurants, I know a lot of it's just mom and pop operation, but somebody needs to check in on it and somebody needs to let somebody know so things can be addressed. No one needs to look at hair salon stuff on a breakfast page. That's stupid. And shame on whoever put them there, because it was from a local salon on Jonestown Road. But that's a shitty thing to do. I'll just go ahead and put that out there.
So many businesses, because they're mom and pops, don't pay attention to their image, their brand, their marketing. They think that all they need to do is focus in on what's happening inside those four walls. But
welcome to the 21st century.
Hadn't been like that in decades.
Right. It's 21st century. People don't look at that. People look at social media.
If you're not up to speed, personally, if you hear social media marketing and you just glaze over, then find somebody that does it and does it well and hire them.
Yeah.
Bring them on board. Let them do that work for you. It will pay dividends and will avoid giant potholes and black eyes.
Yep. Protect.
I've seen it over and over and over and over and over. I've done marketing for way too long. Seen it so many times. People not paying attention, and other folks are hijacking their brand and tearing them down. And they have no idea why there's a fall off on the business. Did you know all this stuff is being said about you? And it's on your page. You could have controlled that.
Yeah, that just makes it look worse when you could have done something about it and didn't. All right, it's time for Getting in Your Business, and welcome from Tuning Fork Provisions. And I'm sure there's some pork to be had. And Mojito Latin Soul Food, Mr. Michael Millan. And welcome Street Team Steven as well. Woohoo!
All right.
Now,
a little
Freudian slip with the pork.
Yeah.
I like that though, actually.
Yeah.
I tune pork.
Yeah.
Very well.
It's never out of tune. Stephen, so you know that we, in the beginning part of the show here, teased about news about a burger tour coming up. And although you and I haven't finalized really any details whatsoever, there will be a burger, Summer of Burgers, or whenever of Burgers 2021, because over half the places that were on the top 10 list of 2019's burger tour is no longer here. So we need to
which is a sad state of affairs in one respect, but a good excuse to eat a lot more burgers.
Yes. And my health issues came up, and now I'm having to be very mindful of what I'm eating. So the same rules will apply as they did last time. I'm only allowed 2 of them a week. And I say 2 of them. I mean, if we have like 2 or 3 at a time, that's one thing. But I can't. I can't go have them more than twice a week, either for quote unquote work or for sport.
Well, and we've got some new places that need to be considered.
We
for
do.
The burger tour.
Yes, Ray. I mean, I'm amazed at how many places have popped up since a year plus ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, so I think the only thing that we agree on is that there will be a spreadsheet of a lot of places. It's going to be a lot of work. So.
Yeah. We'll put that together.
And I think it's good to know that if any of the listeners, it doesn't hurt, even though it might be redundant, to send us, their places again, just so we can make sure we have a full list, right? So we don't want to leave any burger unturned.
Yeah, it's like, whenever I listen to music lists, I do that so I'm not left to my own devices. If I'm left to my own devices, I'm going to go to the same places over and over, right? So if I have listener input as to where I should try, then absolutely I want to try something different, because there could be things I don't know about. We just, on a couple of the boards that we're on this week, there are a couple of things, they have this, and you're like, hey, this, I didn't know about this. So, yeah. And by that time,
one day there was 2 new places I've never even heard of, Frank's and Joe's.
Right.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Mr. Barbecue will be back open. I know there's no, it will be a little bit different because this grill isn't seasoned from all those years of using, but still, I'd like to try it there too. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't we include mojitos in the burger tour as well?
Well, you got the.
If they have a burger, they do.
We have Fish's burger with some pork in it as well, and we also have a burger at Tuning Fork too.
Yes,
you do. Which we'll get into, because I was actually going to try that Saturday.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
This past Saturday?
Yeah, the one that you weren't open on.
Yeah. We want to be open.
Was that part of the other things that we talked about?
Yeah. They had some issues at Fiddle and Fish.
Okay.
So kind of shut that down and waited for everybody to get their test results back.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I saw that they had posted that somebody had contracted the virus, so they were going to just, out of an abundance of caution, shut down, make sure everything was deep cleaned, make sure everybody tested, and then come back together.
Yeah, they did the right thing and went through the process and closed for the weekend. But they actually opened back up Sunday. We decided not to, just because we had already kind of set the schedule and had our people in place, and it wasn't really enough time to go doing all that prep work and get everything set up. The food spoils a little quicker than the beer, so we take precautions.
Right.
So when are you going to open up again? When's the relaunch, or whatever you want to call it?
Back week, starting Thursday evening. We'll do our regular schedule Thursday evening, Friday 12 to 9, Saturday 12 to 9, and Sunday 12 to 8.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little more about. I know I've said a lot of stuff on here, but I want to hear it from your mouth. The Tuning Fork Provisions.
So the Tuning Fork Provisions is a collective effort between David and Stuart and myself and Michelle. It kind of helps balance out the brewery. And give them what they were looking for as far as food with, American bar food, done with a little bit of a twist and a ton more fat. That's what people
more
were
flavor.
Yeah, I mean, you listen, I'm not going to mince words here, man. I'm not here for anybody's diet. I love around March when everybody forgets about their diets and we start picking up and the sun's out and, funds are happening again, and everybody forgets that they weren't supposed to eat the Hot Winston beef and cheese.
Well, my son got me a shirt last Father's Day that said, "If fat equals flavor, then I'm fucking delicious."
But that's what we do over there, and it's been a cool, we kind of mixed in some of their beers with the food we're doing over there. For example, we're using a reduction of their beer for that Fish Cray beer cheese. We're soaking our brats in their seasonal beers. So we're taking some steps to incorporate the brewery with the food truck. What they do, what we do, you'll see in spring, we'll have some more cool specials that we'll work on that incorporate the beer a lot more. And that's, it's a fun little thing. And we feel like right across the street, it's good for us. We still actually deliver to Broad Branch, to Fiddle and Fish, and to Wiseman when they don't have a food truck. So, you can find our QR codes at all those places on top of their tables. We worked out ways for you to get a hold of us faster. We also have our online ordering for mojitos up and running. So if you're sitting at, a brewery to pick up your online order real quick, we got that too.
I know we had Daniel Spivey from Broad Branch on 2 weeks ago, when right before they sold the bourbon, and Stephen and I both got a bottle. But he was talking about, and he was under the impression that you guys were going to, since Tuning Fork was there, you were going to not deliver. I said, why would they not just walk out the door? I mean, that's cutting off their business.
Yeah.
That's not what you do.
We for sure deliver. We'll still deliver to Broad Branch. We did it all this weekend, especially because the brewery was closed. We got to Broad Branch. So yeah, listen, man, it's all for us. Anything that we can do to expand, we're going to do it. Yeah. And of this business, we love exposing our product, to the market. And I feel like we have a pretty stout product. So whenever we get an opportunity to partner with somebody like Wiseman, Wiseman's a great place for us to deliver, because all we're doing is extending our dining room, across the street.
Yeah, especially when they have those.
Well, it's basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's creating for them a kitchen that they don't have to stock or outfit and run. They just have it show up. I love what you're doing with Fiddlin' Fish, where you're incorporating. It's what they would do if they had their own kitchen.
Right, exactly. But that's what we want. And, they know their customer base, and they gave us the information. They let us in on what their customers were asking about, which trucks they kind of wanted. They kind of hit up harder than others. And so we took that information, we ran with it. We also didn't want to compete with ourselves across the street, because we'll still deliver our, and we didn't want to blend the product, because it doesn't make any sense either. So we have two. Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just saying, it dilutes it when you do that.
Yeah, exactly. And they're two separate products that can stand on their own, and I think people enjoy each one. And hopefully, man, like when would have been awesome is when Fiddlin' Fish did that beer event over at Tanglewood Park. We had Mojito out there, the Pour Fest. Yeah, we had Mojito out there as a food truck, as a vendor. It would have been awesome to have that connection, to each thing, them being there to sell beer and us being there to sell our food based off their beer. I think that's going to be a winning combo when events like that open back up.
Absolutely. So
beer battered fish. All I can say. Yeah. You got to do some fish and chips with some beer battered fish from their beer. Yeah. Right? I mean, let's be.
Spring hits, and we can we get a bigger following out there. I mean, the opening Saturday was phenomenal. Broad Branch had their thing going on. The brewery was super busy. The restaurant was over the top busy. It was a fantastic weekend. It was a nice little taste of what we have coming this season,
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Stephen, you were able to, when you were picking up your Broad Branch bourbon, you had the opportunity to try some of their wares. What did you have?
I had the Winston-Salem beef. The non-Philly cheesesteak, which was great, So, I mean, first of all, I was looking at the menu, and it was a hard decision on what to get, because truly, just everything down the menu was going, oh, I got to come back and try that. Oh, I want to come back and try that. Especially being from Minnesota and, the Midwest, those bratwursts are going, oh, I have to go see what their bratwursts are like, especially if it's beer, braised beer and stuff like that, like real bratwursts are supposed to be, So I had the Winston-Salem beef, and again, to everybody, imagine a Philly cheesesteak, but the meat is like shredded pot roast, which I think it might be shredded pot roast of some sort, and the seasonings, though. I mean, that was the incredible part. I mean, there were so many flavors going on the meat side of the equation, and the textures, because you have the crispy onion rings, little things on the top, so you get the crunch from there, you get the all the flavors coming from the beef, you get the cheesy stuff, you get the beautiful bun. I mean, it was a kind of like an orgasm in your mouth, with all those, you get a bite of everything, and it's just crazy, which is how I believe food should be. I mean, I love those, I'm very big into Vietnamese food, or Asian food in general, and that's one thing they do. They change flavors and textures and stuff, so it's never boring, right? And that's what I would say about that sandwich. It was not a boring sandwich. It was a lot of flavor going on. So, yeah, I really liked it. Now, the other thing is I had the fries with it, and quite honestly, by the time I got anywhere with the fries, I had a couple of them. They seemed like fine fries, but they were fries, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were supposed to be overly seasoned fries. I just wasn't sure, but they were fine fries. I put some malt vinegar on there. You know, I'm English background, so you know it was great. But you know, but that Philly, the Boston, the Winston-Salem beef, that's a hit. So I can't wait to try the hamburger. Can't wait to try the brats. You know, just keep going down the list. So
we appreciate
it's good. Yep.
Yeah, you bring up the way the flavors were laid out in Asian cuisine. So my background, my uncle was Japanese. That's where I started working for his restaurant in Miami, and they always pushed umami and having crunch factor, having, you know, sauces over seasoned meat and things that kind of bring different flavors in. You got different layers of flavor, but don't ever go past past the number 7. So we really worked hard on that sandwich, and I think it's a winner. I think spring's going to kind of bolster everything for us as far as all those things are concerned, and having these little creations that we're working on at the end of Trade Street, you know.
Yeah.
Indeed. So that's my review. It was a very positive review, and I can't wait to try more things.
So
it's nice when you go to a place and try it for the first time, and you're like, "Oh, I've got to come back for this and this and this and this and this."
Yeah.
Yeah, because you run into the thing where there are places that just have, they have their one trick pony, right? And when you go to a place not knowing what to expect, and you look at the menu, and you're like, well, crap, that's a lot of stuff. And then you try something, and it's good enough that makes you want to really try the other stuff even more. So that's always a positive thing, which is, you know, as many times as I've been to Mojito, every time I look at that menu, I'm like, I can try something else, but I have to have that. I have to have that Cuban, or I have to have the pork belly, or I have to have. So that's my problem is, you know, food is a fleeting thing. And it goes as soon as I've eaten it, it's done. So I want it'll be back in a few hours or a day, but not in the way that I want to. But you know, that's why I keep going back to places, because I want to try something else, and I want to try maybe, you know, especially if I get to know the people who are in the kitchen or people who own it, and I can say, hey, can we try this with this? You feel adventurous? You feel like playing around? And they're like, well, shit, yeah, let's do it. And I always like that. And, you know, Michael has made me, what was that thing you made me, the heart attack on a bun or something that you made?
That was when we were messing with the Winston hot beef and cheese. I started using our ropa vieja and our melty cheese to, you know, kind of start conceptualizing the sandwich.
Yeah.
And so I made him while he was over for lunch one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah.
I think Tim is a willing guinea pig. I'm just going to step out on a limb there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because it starts on a busy day when I have about 15 seconds to shove something down my face, and I like look around to see what I'm going to grab hold of to mix up and put in a bun and throw down my gullet, you know, on the staircase of coming up the basement so nobody sees me.
Yeah, because Lord forbid you eat, right?
Well, and I think I'm like, man, that was delicious. What else can I do to that to you know? And then everybody goes home, and that's what I do. I walk in the kitchen and quietly make some disastrous meal that my cardiologist rolling over, you know, telling me is a bad idea. But, you know, I think vegetables, there's that too.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. Any other things going on at Mojito or Tuning Fork that you want to talk about?
So we've been knocking out our mojitos for about a month now, just about. That's been awesome. I got to tell you, I love our product. I love our mojitos. We have some really great classic cocktails, you know, from 1950s Cuba.
I loved my Cuba Libre.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We just take a lot of care in everything we do, and like, for example, our mojito mix that we make for our mojitos is a specific recipe that we knock out, so everything is exactly the same. And we put our fun little twist, like the Sebastian with the orange mojito. We're having a great time, man. We're enjoying the product we're putting out, and we're super, super duper grateful to the turnout we've been having, because, man, we are making it. It's amazing. It really is.
I was going to ask if is your turnover is good? I mean, you're getting better walk-in customers and stuff like that. So it's increasing, or?
Yeah, we've been in every week gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. I mean, right now we just threw out our online ordering that we've been working on for a couple months. My wife's been just incredible in knocking that whole project out. And we have, like, if you look at it, like, online, the ordering system's phenomenal. The pictures look great. Everything is, well represented. You can change things the way you want to change things, because our menu is very adaptive. We try and start from a level where a vegan can eat all the products and go up, vegetarian and carnivorous folks. So everything we do is a thoughtful, laid out process to give you, the customer, exactly what you want.
Tim, what was those first two words he used? Is a vegan something and vegetable bites or something? What are those things?
And I like to include everybody in my mayhem. So I figure let's just be all inclusive. But I start at the carnivore level, and then vegetables
trickle down from there. Well, tell Michelle that I appreciate the admonition that I got this week about having a little incorrect information on one of the lists.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is if nobody tells us, we don't know. So I'm joking totally about that, but I do thank her for it.
You had mojitos as clothes?
No. I had on the unofficial list, it had Mojito's phone number listed as Michael's cell phone.
Oh,
and and because that's what he was dealing with, before, for the truck and stuff. But so I changed that. But on the official list, the one on my website, the number was right. So, and then I added Tuning Fork Provisions to both lists.
Nice.
So,
yeah, you can call and order Tuning Fork as well.
Okay.
We have numbers set up for that. So.
Oh, you have a separate number for Tuning Fork?
Oh, yeah. We try and make thing as accessible and easy as possible.
I don't remember seeing it on the truck, so maybe I just missed it.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to laying out those decals yet. We still want to put Powered by Mojito on it, and the phone number and all the Facebook information, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, our
QR codes.
Our Facebook page for Tuning Fork goes right to that phone number.
Okay.
So we'll soon, sooner rather than later, we'll have some online ordering set up for that as well, so people can just come pick up their orders from Tuning Fork.
Nice.
It's great. Come by, pick up a growler, pick up your food, off you go.
Yeah, man. We'll make everything, to go accessible.
Awesome. Steven, you have any other questions? Ray, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm just excited to hear it's happening.
Yeah. Yep. Again, I just can't wait to go back and try a few other things.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Well, I thank both of you for coming on to talk with us today about Tuning Fork Provisions and Mojito Latin Soul Food and Summer of Burgers and all other things that we talk about. And Steven, I want you to know, whenever I call you out on the show, that's not making fun or anything. That's actually, I enjoy your job is to correct me when I'm wrong. you're really, my IT team.
I enjoy that part. Don't get me wrong. It's like, that's exactly how I view it.
Yeah.
Every time I take notes and I say, well, Tim, that's not quite correct, and here's what you really should know about some other details. But anyway, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone was questioning the hot pot thing, and I'm like, do you know who you're messing with here?
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably the only one around who's actually, well, that's not true. I know there's other people, but who've actually had hot pot in Singapore, in China, in other places there. So if one thing I do know is what a hot pot is, and what you can do.
So what is it about Forsyth County that doesn't allow that here?
It has to do with the fire code, strangely, because you have a boiling. It's just a health thing. You have, and I don't know why. I think it's because the way a hot pot works, it's like a fondue, right? Except it's with boiling hot, spicy broth. So you have all this, you have this raw meat that's sitting out, on the table,
right?
Granted, but and stuff like that. That's all I can think of is because of that. You got raw chicken, raw meat. There could be cross contamination. Obviously, millions of people do this every single day. So obviously, this is not really an issue. It's the same problem that we're going to face, by the way, and why we'll probably never get a real Korean barbecue joint here either. Because they're not going to allow in a restaurant an open fire that you grill right in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see Forsyth doing that either. That's probably a problem there. So, but it's it's Forsyth County, health. I mean, come on, let's be real. They're not the easiest people to work with in the first place. They're certainly they're bending corners and going around is certainly not something they know. So, even though there's like 5 million, maybe more examples of people doing this around the world without any issues whatsoever, doesn't mean it's going to work in Forsyth. But
gotta love them Forsyth inspectors, don't you, Michael?
Yeah. Well, it's not the inspectors. The inspectors are only doing their job, but it's the 5,000 pages of the rules that they have to, the code that they actually have to enforce. It's like, so. And I don't know if there's ways or what the mechanism would be to try to get some of these outdated, really bizarre rules, reversed and actually taken off the books to allow more creativity and more types of cuisines. I mean, there's got to be a process where we can go to the city council maybe, or it's not the city, it's the county. So I don't know who, but there's got to be a way that we can, petition to say, hey, look, let's review these rules. Look at all the places, even in North Carolina, that allows this, right? Raleigh, Charlotte, all these other places that have hot pots and they have barbecue and right there and stuff, and say, can't we just use theirs and, go after them,
Well, that would be easy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. They would
what a concept.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, they would need to read something. They would have to, do
I was thinking big cartoons. Do it in cartoon style.
Yeah, put it together for them, a little flip book. So, hey, we'll sit around this circle, talk about things. Yeah, no, I've had my run-ins with Michelle. It's been fun. She's awesome. What can I say? They're all
just doing their job. Well, they're all just justifying their existence.
From the inspector standpoint, that's usually true. They're just trying to, get through their 8 hours. But from the bureaucratic standpoint, the people in charge of those folks, that's a whole nother world that I'm in complete agreement with, needs to be torn down and started over. I think the health department has their place.
Because we want to be healthy and safe.
Yeah, right. We don't want people dumping, fry oil in the sewage lines, but we also want to be reasonable about this stuff too, man.
Well, when they're getting in the way of business actually moving forward and developing and growing, I've talked to a number of people that tried to get a business started in Forsyth County, months and months of red tape, never getting anywhere. Some of them just went next door to Davie County, and within a week, they had all of the permits, everything that they needed, county officials coming in, city officials coming in. Hey, how can we help you out? What else do you need? What can we do to help you succeed?
Yeah.
It's a mindset. We want this to work. We want them to go forward, not we're going to find another way to stop you.
Yeah, it's a culture, though. It's not just a mindset. It's a whole culture. It's a culture of, in Forsyth County. I can't speak for any other county, but in Forsyth County, it's a culture of, I don't want to be as drastic as to say anti-business, but it's anti-progress, right? This business isn't like a greasy spoon that serves the same crap I've seen my whole life. Then, we got to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, if they've never heard of the food, we can't have that here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
In reality, that's what we're wanting. That's what we're ready for. It's what we're excited about. So when Michael opens up Mojitos, we're like, yes, something fresh, something new. Let's go check this out.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree because I mean, my wife and I go to Greensboro specifically for Asian food because we can't get Asian food. Although New Sichuan is phenomenal.
Yep. But they're still limited in what they can do.
They're super limited. And yeah, man, we should let these people soar, man. Like, I want more culture, and I don't get that culture any other way than through my belly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's how you get to know people. That's how you get to know circumstance. That's how you get to know nuance. That's, you know, you want a culture, you eat the culture. That's really how to get to know that culture.
Amen.
And we have some great opportunities for people to bring us that culture, and we keep squandering it because of narrow-minded bureaucrats. That's really what it boils down to.
Yep. Well, Stephen and Michael, I appreciate to no end you guys being on to talk with us this week. And Stephen, we'll nail down some criteria here about the Burger Tour 2021. And,
yep, I'll get the Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheets all set up and share it and stuff like that, so we can start actually putting some documentation down.
Excellent. Sounds good. And Michael, thank you, and enjoyed talking with you this weekend. And I got to come over and try some Tuning Fork provisions soon.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you guys so much, man. And you know, I'm there all the time, baby.
All right. Well, I'll be
Michael,
by
one
soon.
of these days I'll actually go by and see you. I've been there, I just never seen you. So get straight.
I'm usually wrapped up in something, you know, grinding out some food for us, or you know, I'm telling you, we're so blessed because we're just so busy, and I'm always having to, like, you know, make 50 to 100 more pounds of everything. So, you know,
could be worse problems. Could be worse problems.
Really.
Yeah.
Amazing success story. I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I'm glad to be part of that. I'm glad that this show has you, and you know, because you always give us something to talk about, but that we get to. I mean, I'm not tooting any horns, but just that we get to put the word out, and I love that.
Man, I appreciate you guys doing that for us, and you know, honestly, we love these types of relationships because our community is everything to us. And you know, it started with my decision to partner up with Mary, and you know, her letting me in the fold in the community and all the work she's done, and you know, it's just, we want to keep that going. I really love Winston-Salem. I really love what we're able to do, and we want to you know, have our product out there, and but not only that, is we, you know, all of our relationships with Second Harvest and all these other things that we do, we love our community. I love downtown. It's a beautiful place to be. It's amazing. The people are excellent. You know, our customer base has been phenomenal. You've been awesome to us, so we just appreciate it.
Well, I'm always here, so if you have anything to say or you just want to shoot the breeze, as we do anyway, you do call me and we just talk out of the blue. So you know, I'm here, and I love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you, and thank you, Stephen. We will talk soon.
Indeed. And by the way, if you haven't tried that bourbon yet, I opened it up on Saturday. It's phenomenal. I
tried it at the distillery. I got a tasting at the bar when I picked mine up. I got a little private tour and some tasting some things that they haven't gotten to yet. But I have to wait to open it because it's not just my bottle. I went in with two other people, so we have to wait till we can all three be together before we open it. So
I do not have that restriction, so I did open it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So it was good. All right.
So I'm going to Stephen's house.
Right, exactly. That's right. If you want to try it early, you can come to my house. The bottle's open. All right, Ray, as usual, it's a pleasure as well. Michael, great meeting you. Yep. And Tim, my brother.
Yes.
Let's keep in touch.
Absolutely. We're on it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao.
Thank you, Ray.
All right. Thank you again to Michael Millan and Stephen McDowall, Street Team Stephen, for coming on and talking with us. That's awesome. And there's your scoop. The Burger Tour 2021. I don't know how it's going to go.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go down yet. We're going to talk about that. And I'm excited that Stephen's excited about it. It's cool.
In some ways, it seems like the criteria you had the first time would still be appropriate.
Oh yeah, it just needs
if
to be
nothing
tweaked.
else, it gives us a solid comparison of one list to the next.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, y'all are right. There's some new places, and I'm real curious to see how they stack up. And I hate that we've lost folks, but they're gone. So yeah, the landscape has changed. It's time to reassess.
Exactly. Before we get into the food holidays, I want to talk a minute about Carrabba's Italian Grill. And that's some delicious stuff coming from there. This is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. And for us, having Daniel Butner as a franchisee, we couldn't pick a better one. Follow them on social media and Carrabba's. And if you're not on their mailing list, you should be. They have me enticed every week, sometimes a few times a week on the emails. Makes my mouth water every time. So check them out, Carrabba's.com. Sign up for the mailing list. So
it's a shame he doesn't have a burger.
I know. And I don't think there is. And it's a grill. And they have ground beef. They probably could make one. They probably just don't have a bun or anything for it. But who knows? I mean, it may be on the kids' menu. Yeah. I don't know.
And I would be curious if Daniel Butner said, I'm going to put a burger on the menu. Because it wouldn't be anything but top drawer.
Right.
I mean, it couldn't be a crap burger.
Right. Well,
it doesn't fit.
Right. But the sirloin and stuff that they get, the trimmings left over from where they get theirs from goes to Taco Bell for their stuff. So, it's good meat. I mean, I don't eat Taco Bell, but so people who are poo-pooing on Taco Bell, their meat comes from the same place Carrabba's does. So, deal with it, y'all. So, holidays for this week. Today is the 1st of February, and it's Baked Alaska Day. And all my life, I thought that was like salmon because, you hear Alaskan salmon and baked salmon and all this other stuff. And it's not. It's an ice cream and cake topped with browned meringue. And you know what that makes me think of?
Ice cream and cake and cake. 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 Ice cream and cake, do the ice cream and cake. Ice cream and cake, do the ice cream and cake. Ice cream and cake, do the ice cream and cake. Ice cream and cake, do the ice cream and cake. Now slip, 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 slide. Slip, 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 and slide.
Yeah.
Slip, slip, and slide.
It's a shame y'all don't get to see Tim dancing.
Yeah, they would probably pay me to stop.
That's hilarious. Well, you said baked Alaskan. I'm like, what? Some dude's really stoned? I mean, what?
Hey, man.
Dude, I'm like really baked.
I can see Russia from my house, man. So
I can see Sarah out there trying to shoot something. I don't know. It's just weird.
On the 1st in 1894, the first volume of the Oxford English Dictionary was published. So happy birthday to the Oxford English Dictionary.
Happy birthday.
On the 1st in 1939, or at least around this date, State Representative Cleveland Sleeper Jr. introduced a bill to the Maine legislature to make it illegal to use tomatoes in clam chowder. New England clam chowder and Manhattan clam chowder are two different things, and there's always a long debate over which clam chowder is best. I'm going with New England. Because
I don't know that I've had the Manhattan version of it.
You've never had the red version?
I don't think I have. And, not every version of New England clam chowder is edible. I've had some that were like, ew, no, thank you. No, I really don't need a second spoonful. I'm good.
Yeah. Again, Sail Loft in Boston, Massachusetts. Best I've ever had. So, on the first in 1960, 4, and I'm using quotation marks, colored students from the Agriculture and Technological College in Greensboro, also known as NCANT, sat down at the lunch counter at Woolworth's and ordered coffee. They were refused service, but they made history. So, yeah, that started.
We have a hard time understanding that today because we don't see that like that now.
Yeah, we don't.
But yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
you're right.
We don't know what people of color see. We have the fortunate privilege, and I use that emphatically, of being white, and we're not subject to most of the same prejudices that they are. So I don't mean
we've come
to,
a long way, and yet we've still got a long way to go.
Oh yeah. We've come a long way to start to change things.
Yeah.
And we as white folk are more aware, but not fully, I think. Even me,
Right.
I'm not claiming to know all of what's going on. I want to know more, and I want to do what I can to stop that crap.
It seems to me too like we're seeing a very distinct generational shift. Our parents, we're already in our 50s. Our parents are in their 70s. We're seeing a shift from our parents' mindset back to their grandparents, right? So they're becoming more progressive and willing to accept racial differences. Then we get to our generation. The Civil Rights Act happened while most of us were either not born yet or while we were still fairly young. So that's been a fact most of our lives. But I look at like my daughter. I mean, she was born in 2000. Since then, that's the world that she knows. And black folk are everywhere and a part of so much. She's grown up with this mindset that there's really no difference between me and my brothers and sisters who have different color skin. And I believe that we are getting to that place where these old attitudes are dying off, quite literally. And there is a new attitude that is taking shape, but there is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Well, and another thing that I've noticed, and Stephanie and I have talked about this, is a lot of commercials now feature interracial couples and same-sex couples. And at one part, I'm like,
LGBTQ couples.
Yeah, and the for part of me is like, okay, we get it, blah blah blah. Now everybody's doing it, and it's kind of part of me thinks that it's eroding the importance, but at the same time, the other part of me is like, the good thing is this becoming commonplace and something we don't have to think about, hopefully, in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter and no one sees that anymore. And I think that we are getting to. We're not there yet, but we are getting there. And
I've seen that in the last year.
I commend advertising agencies, the clients of these advertising agencies, to have the balls to put that out there, knowing the scrutiny and uproar that would cause. And I believe that the uproar has gotten quieter because, again, it's becoming commonplace when it doesn't matter anymore to anybody. There will always be dissenters, but I think for the majority of society, at least in this country, that's becoming old news.
Well, we don't have a pot stirrer in chief who's out there really just fueling the fire.
It's true. It's true. Presser in chief. In 2008, on the first, New Zealand Crop and Food Research scientists announced that they have created a tear-free onion, and I have not seen said onion. Although I have never had a problem with crying. I want to sneeze.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
that's your response.
Yeah, I don't cry. I just I want to sneeze.
It does help to wash it through some water while you're cutting, but there's only you can only do that for so much. Your first couple of cuts, you can wash that off, but then it doesn't work. Yeah. So you end up.
Yeah.
I have to wash my glasses because then it gets all the tears on the inside of my glasses, and it's nasty.
Yeah.
But I love what onion does to food. So there you go.
Me too. On the 2nd of February, it is Groundhog Day, meaning if Puxatawny Phil emerges from his burrow on this day and he sees his shadow due to clear weather, there will be 6 more weeks of winter, which is utter BS because seasons run by cycle, not because a rodent said so.
Are you actually trying to discredit Puxatawny Phil?
Well,
are you saying that he really doesn't have supernatural powers over winter?
Well, what happens in 6 weeks anyway? It's spring. So, yes, dumbasses, it is 6 more weeks of winter, regardless of whether he sees it or not.
1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. We're in March. 6 weeks. Yeah, we're in mid-March by that point. Yeah. So we're hoping by mid-March we will see some signs of spring.
Yeah.
And we thank the groundhog for it.
So it is also on thank you, groundhog, for making the stuff. It's Heavenly Hash Day, which I don't know what Heavenly Hash. Do you know what Heavenly? You're the preacher. Do you know what Heavenly Hash is?
It's a dessert.
Cream. It's ice cream. It's
ice cream.
Yeah, crushed pineapples and mandarin oranges, fruit cocktail, basically on ice cream. I go with it. I like it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
The second is also Tater Tot Day, which would have been really good.
And where should we go?
Well, you should have gone to. You should go to Tune Fort Provision. I'm sure they have some tater tots over there. But the Sir Winston for that thing last week would have been great for this week because then we would have those tater tots that Stephanie had.
It's only known. I wonder if they'll bring it back for the day.
I don't know. They should do something. It's also Crepe Day tomorrow, the 2nd. I like crepes. Go to Penny Path for that here in town.
I was going to say, they do some great crepes over there.
Yeah, they do. Opening a new location in Boone.
Are they now?
They are.
Good for them.
Yep. On the 2nd, in 1852, the first public lavatory opened in London. Yeah, so that's news. In 1880, on the 2nd, the first successful shipment of frozen mutton made it to London from Australia aboard the SS Strathleven. In 1890,
wow.
Yeah, look at that mutton.
Like a nice MLT, real crispy.
Where it's nice and lean. In 1897, Alfred Krall of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, received a patent for an ice cream mold and disher, which we know as an ice cream scoop. His basic design is still used today.
And it's a great design. It works.
It does. And I know last week we talked about the Sears catalog, but in 1925 on the 2nd, Sears, Roebuck & Company expanded its catalog business by opening its first retail store in the Merchandise Building, which is its headquarters in Chicago. And now it's known as the Willis Tower.
And they didn't make it 100 years after that.
No. And now it's the Willis Tower there in Chicago. On the 2nd, in 2010, Kraft Foods announced that more than 71% of Cadbury shareholders had voted to approve Kraft's takeover bid of the British confectioner. Kraft still owns it today. And the second, a happy birthday to the co-founder of the Less Desirables podcast, Mr. Brian Attridge. I think.
Yay!
Yeah. So I think he is 39 this year. I don't know. I think that's what it is. My math sucks.
So the beginning of when he starts saying and holding.
Yeah, something like that. The 3rd of February is Carrot Cake Day.
Yes.
You like carrot cake?
I love a good carrot cake. I used to work for a lady. That was her treat for us, as she would make a carrot cake, and hers is the best I've ever had. It was rich, and it had lots of stuff in it.
Yeah.
So moist.
Cream cheese icing?
Yeah, of course you have to.
Oh, yeah. The 3rd of February is also the day the music died. We'll talk more about that here in a second.
Oh.
In 1815, on the 3rd, the world's first commercial cheese factory was established in Switzerland. I
thought it would have been further back than that, but okay.
Well, big factory. Everything else is done on small scale, I'm sure. In 1913, on the 3rd, the 16th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. You know what that was about? Nothing good, I can tell you.
I should know right off the top of my head, but my civics lessons are escaping me.
It gave Congress the power to levy taxes on income.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one. Yeah, we don't want that one.
Well, I mean, we have to pay for government somehow, so that's one thing. But in 1913, less than 1% of the population paid income tax at the rate of 1%.
I remember a quote from the founding fathers of the country, back to like Washington and Franklin and Jefferson. And I forget who it was that said it. I believe it was Washington. That if you try to tax the American public at the rate of 1% of their income, there will be a revolt. I'm like, dang it, they're taking 40% of my income now.
Yeah. Greedy bastards. On the 3rd of 1959, it was the day the music died. Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. Richardson, known as the Big Bopper, were killed in a plane crash shortly after takeoff near Mason City, Iowa.
And Don McLean wrote the story to memorialize it.
Partly. Not all of that is about that, but a good bit of it is. In 2006, on the 3rd, Del Monte announced that it was no longer economically feasible to grow pineapple in Hawaii and would cease its Hawaiian pineapple operation in 2 years. Though, according to their website, they say that their pineapples are grown in the Philippines, Costa Rica, Hawaii, Thailand, Malaysia, Brazil, Indonesia, and various countries in Africa. So, I don't think they stopped altogether.
Well, they may not be growing it themselves, but they may still be purchasing pineapples from there.
Could be. In 2010, on the 3rd, the very first episode of The Less Desirables was recorded in Studio 1A in the Less Desirable Studios South now, which is, again, my house. 11 years ago, now Wednesday, and it was Wednesday on that day too. So
wow, a lot has changed, and yet you're still doing it. That's cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. 11 years this Wednesday. So the 4th is stuffed mushroom day.
Yes.
And homemade soup day.
But don't do them together.
Maybe you can do like stuffed mushrooms and put them in a vegetable soup, couldn't you?
I love mushrooms. I love stuffed mushrooms.
I don't.
I'm just trying to picture that in the soup. It's like, I don't know that they would hold together in the soup.
Yeah, I don't do the stuffed mushrooms anyway. But if you did, maybe in a vegetable soup of some sort. I don't know. Speaking of Cadbury, earlier on the 4th in 1854, Cadbury received a royal warrant as manufacturers of cocoa and chocolate to Queen Victoria.
Ooh, well.
Lucky her, huh? In 1879, John H. Hines received a patent for an improvement in vegetable assorters, machines for assorting vegetables, fruits, pickles, etc., according to their size. And that is Heinz of Heinz ketchup and Heinz 57 and pickles and all that stuff. In 1930, on the 4th, candy maker Frank C. Mars of Minnesota introduced the Snickers bar.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites.
In
Frozen.
Okay. I like them.
Frozen.
I like them however they come. In 1941, Roy J. Plunkett received the patent for Teflon. He had discovered it by accident in 1938, so 3 years prior. In 2013, France finally overturned a 200-year-old law that banned women from wearing trousers. And in 2013, also, Canada withdraws the penny from circulation.
We can do that here in this country.
I wish we would. The 5th of February is Chocolate Fondue Day.
Yes.
Chocolate that's
Sounds
melted
so good.
chocolate that you dip other things like chocolate into chocolate. That's Ray's kind of day. It's
Dip cake in there. You dip fruit into there. Yeah.
Asparagus.
It's your fingers.
Probably not your fingers. That would not be good. That would be hot.
Maybe not.
That would be hot.
Just stick a spoon down in there.
Spoon and then blow on it a lot.
Yeah.
On the 5th also.
But no asparagus. No, I heard that.
Yeah.
No. You're not putting asparagus
I don't
in my chocolate fondue.
Worry not, my friend. I won't get close to asparagus. It won't be me putting it in there. Bubblegum Day is on the 5th, and it's also World Nutella Day, which is, of course, a commercial brand of paste made from chocolate and hazelnuts. So,
good stuff.
Yeah. On the 5th, in 1644, the first livestock branding law in the American colonies is passed. All cattle, sheep, and swine over 6 months old must be earmarked or branded. The fine for non-compliance was 34 cents per head.
That was a big fine then.
Yeah, it was. 240 years later, on the 5th, in 1884, Willis Johnson of Cincinnati, Ohio, received a patent for an egg beater. I don't know what that was. In 1907, Frederick Martin Sr. of Columbus, Ohio, received Columbus and Cincinnati on the same day. Received a patent for a washboard, which was improved metallic plate having a series of staggered projections upon the face thereof, adapted for use as a rubbing plate for washboards. And musicians in West Virginia rejoiced and was glad in it. And Eastern Kentucky as well. In 1981, a new record Jell-O mold is created in Brisbane, Australia, using 9,246 gallons of Jell-O.
That's a lot of Jell-O.
It's a schloed, officially a schloed. In 2010,
was there wrestling that happened in there too, or is it just the Jell-O?
I don't know. I hope there was some wrestling in there, truthfully. On 2010, on the 5th, 5 crates of Scotch whiskey, 2 of brandy, buried under ice for more than 100 years, were recovered by a New Zealand team restoring an Antarctic hut used by polar explorer Ernest Shackleton. I bet that was good stuff. Nicely chilled and aged.
100 years old, yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Oh yeah, because it was probably at least 12, 15 years old before that.
Mm-hmm.
On the 6th, it's Froyo Day, Frozen Yogurt Day. It's National Chopsticks Day. And it's Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, which is the first Saturday of February. Not to be confused with Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, which we'll talk about on February 18th. I don't know. And while I don't usually talk about birthdays, the 6th in 1914, Thurl Ravenscroft was born. Do you know who Thurl Ravenscroft was?
You know, that's just not a household name for me.
So, they're great. Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger.
He was also the original Green Giant. Ho, ho, ho. And...
Green Giant.
Yes, and he was the singing voice of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
He's one of my favorite trivia answers. So, Thurl Ravenscroft. He would be 107 this week.
He'd really be old.
Yep. In 1985, Perrier introduced Perrier with a twist of lemon, its first new product in 125 years. Now, I have to say, I prefer the twist of lime over the twist of lemon.
Need a lemon twist?
Yes, a lemon twist. Twist de lemon. A lemon. On the 7th of February, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Go Chiefs. Pork Rind Appreciation Day, which is always Super Bowl Sunday. Fettuccine Alfredo Day. Get yours at Carrabba's or one of the other fantastic Italian restaurants in this town. On the 7th in 1817, the first public gas streetlight in the United States was lit in Baltimore, Maryland. In 1989, it was reported that rain of sardines fell in Ipswich, Australia. Yuck.
Yeah. Sardine rain just does not sound appetizing at any level.
No, nor do I
Who's going
wish
to clean up?
Or to the smell. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. You missed one. How do you know? I smell it.
No, you don't. You don't smell it. You smell all of them.
Yeah.
In 1992, on the 7th, the Maastricht Treaty, which is also known as the Treaty of European Union, was signed in Maastricht, Netherlands, creating the European Union. In 2018, on the 7th, according to a study published in Nature Journal, all citrus fruits can trace their origin to the southeast foothills of the Himalayas about 8 million years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's all your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, know not to put our fingers into a hot fondue pot, and wonder what that awful smell was in Brisbane.
Thanks, James. We would have never gone there without you.
The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Podcast Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum, Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and the latest episodes on our network website and directory tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links to each one there as well. This is a reminder to all the listeners, and it's just good practice, not now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with water, warm water, and soap. Wash with that soap for about 20 seconds or more. You don't know how long that 20 seconds is? Just... And it doesn't matter if you don't know what they're saying, just act like you do. So that's about 20 seconds there. Yeah, don't worry if you don't know the words. Just make something up. I think that's what they did.
Just dance. Dance to the great music.
Yes, yes. That was the great Los Lobos doing their version of La Bamba, which was not written by Richie Valens, but was made famous by Richie Valens. It was actually a traditional Mexican song. So, but
and not just wash your hands. Wear your mask.
Wear your mask
over your mouth and your nose.
And if you really want to be safe for other people, and then yourself as well, wear two.
There you go.
There you go. Well, keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email, tim@themanowaittotown.com, or Leah or Ray at themanowaittotown.com. Leah should be back next week, I hope. You can also contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Instant Messengers, on Twitter, any of those things. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 The Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who 8 The Town. So call and leave a voicemail for the podcast. Call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422. One more time, say it again.
Numb.
Leave a voicemail. We'll play it on the podcast. 336-422-NUMB-6862. Thank you once again to Michael Millan and to Stephen, Straight Team Stephen, for their conversation, their friendship, their critique or review of things going on. And we'll have them both on, maybe together, maybe separately soon. So I'm sure once Stephen and I figure out what we're doing with the tour of burgers, we'll come back on and talk about it. So
looking forward to hearing about that.
Well, my name's Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we are closing Recipe Box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.